Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nanya. This is the Gist and Unwind channel. Work with me on the name. I haven't quite figured out a name or exactly what to title this, but we're sticking with pharmacy related topics at the moment. So this week I'm going to piggyback off last week's episode. If you haven't watched that, please check it out. I talked to you guys about omega-3 fatty acid pills, krill oil versus fish oil. The question being, if you come to the pharmacy or the store and you see one and you don't see the others, can you interchange and still be okay? If you are interested in the answers to that, please check out the previous discussion. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about something that I briefly mentioned in that video. I put out that video on Thursday. I believe it was the 8th. And then somewhere towards the end of the video, I mentioned that that there are some mixed reviews about whether fish oil is actually beneficial at all. And the reason I mentioned that is fish oil is something that is very supported. The benefits of it seems to be unrefuted in the clinical setting. I don't see too many people saying that it's not good for you or that there's no benefits to taking it. In fact, there are a lot of otherwise healthy people who take fish oil because they believe it's going to confer some heart benefits. So it's something that is the support for it is pretty obvious, So for something that is so well accepted, when I was doing my research on the topic, I was surprised at the amount of research and data that I saw that was showing that the benefits for it might not be as strong as I anticipated. Now, don't get me wrong. This is science. This is medicine. This is research. You're always going to see people questioning the norm. That's how we get ahead. That's how we get better in the medical community as a whole. People have to question the standard of care. Is that actually good, or is there something better? Or if it's good, what exactly is it doing? People will always question that and do research. But when something is so strongly supported, you wouldn't see, even when it's questioned, the question should be answered in favor of something that is so well accepted. I don't know if that's making sense, So I was surprised to see the amount of data that was kind of lackluster. Nothing that was flagrant, nothing that said it was terrible for you, but I saw a lot of lackluster stuff, which surprised me because I would think that fish oil, it's almost like somebody telling you to drink water that it's good for you or that exercise is good for you. It's not quite on that level, but it's close enough, that I would expect that, most of what I'll be reading would be like, yes, this is awesome, this is great, this is fantastic, We did this research on the mouse and they lived forever. We did this research on these other mice and they lived forever. And we did this research on these people, But I didn't see a lot of that. I saw a lot of, they were kind of okay. Yeah, they did okay. Yeah, and so that made me put that in the last video, that just so you know, there is some mixed reviews about this, and it's at least good to know, so that when you are talking with your healthcare providers, that you can have a better and informed discussion about your options of care. And so that's why I mentioned that. That's why I mentioned that. Now you fast forward 2 days later, NPR and Washington Post and all the, the big names, media names, published the result or wrote an article about a study that had been going on that I didn't even know was going on. I must have missed that during my research. They published the data for it on the 10th and everybody wrote an article about it. That study is called VITAL study. It is vitamin A and omega-3 trial. So basically it was a randomized control trial. What that means is they got a group of people, a bunch of people, it was almost 26,000 people, and they randomly assigned them to different treatment groups. Some people were gonna actually get a treatment, like either get vitamin D or get omega-3 pills or get nothing. Some people were getting vitamin D and omega-3, some people were getting one and not the other, and some people were just getting nothing. And at the end of 5 years, they were going to compare the data in all 4 groups and see if there was any benefits to taking vitamin D and or taking this fish oil, these omega-3 pills. The one they were taking was Luvasa. That's the fish oil that they were using. So everybody, the results for this came out on the 10th. I believe the people that were doing the research did they talked about it at the American Heart Association conference. I believe it was on the 10th too. So, and I was reading it, and again, lackluster. And this was the first actual randomized controlled trial, it's one of the better ways to actually get meaningful information when it comes to science, when it comes to treatment, because it's in an experimental setting, as opposed to observational studies where we kind of watch what was already happening. Some people would choose to take fish oil and some people won't choose to take fish oil, and we just watch and see if there's a difference. Well, if there is a difference sometimes in those 2 groups in that observational setting, sometimes it's because of other things. Like people who would choose to take fish oil even when they don't have a health condition sometimes are people who are more proactive about their health in the first place. So there might be other things in their lives that is giving those health benefits that we think might be because of the fish oil they're taking. So a randomized controlled trial is good because it takes away all those things and it puts these groups of people in a very, very experimental setting, and you just look and see, if I give these people this and if I don't give it to these people, and at the end of a certain amount of time, if I compare who did better. If they did better, then clearly it's because I was giving them that. If they didn't do better, then hey, there was nothing that what I was giving them was doing for them. So again, like I said, it was lackluster for the most part. So the results was that I'm not gonna try to do this off the top of my head. I'm actually gonna pull on where I wrote it. One of my friends says she doesn't like me looking down when I'm talking about this, but look, I can't memorize all these numbers in my head. Okay, so it was 25,871 men. They were given 2,000 international units of vitamin D3 or 1 gram of fish oil. It was the people, they were generally healthy, otherwise healthy men and women. They didn't have any cardiovascular issues and they didn't have any cancer issues. The men were 50 years and up. The women were 55 years and up. So I'm just going to leave vitamin D out of the equation. But if you're interested, the vitamin D, they said it didn't really make a difference in cancer rates. It was just a brief reduction, but not statistically significant. But what it made a difference is in cancer death. There's a difference, like having cancer and then dying out of cancer. It seemed to actually have some kind of benefits. This is the vitamin D. When it came to omega-3, cardiovascular diseases as a whole, like stroke, heart attack, peripheral artery disease, just things with your cardiovascular system, it didn't seem to make any benefit. There was a little bit of a reduction in the people that were actually taking it, but it wasn't statistically significant, meaning that reduction could have been just a chance and not actually that there was any benefit there to start off. But when they further analyzed the data and played with the statistics, you got to be careful and be vigilant when statistics starts to be analyzed, because you can play with it so much that it starts telling you things that may or may not be there. But anyways, when they analyzed it further, they saw that when it comes to just heart attacks, that there actually seemed to be a benefit. Remember, these people didn't have any cardiovascular issues in the first place, both the treatment group and the control group. They didn't have anything wrong with them to begin with. But they seemed to think that, when they were taking it, there was some reduction in heart attacks, but not for strokes. Both sides got strokes as, frequently as the other. Any other thing that is with cardiovascular issues, it was even on both sides. But where they saw actual benefits were two groups. Number one is people who don't eat a lot of fish in the first place in their diet. Now that would make sense, if there is any benefits to fish oil in the first place, or eating fish. Of course, the people who are not eating it at all are the ones that are gonna get some benefits from getting fish oil. But people who were just eating fish regularly, like people like me, I typically have a fish meal in my fridge at any given week. So we eat a lot of fish around here because my children love it, I like it, and my husband likes it. So, we tend to, it's the protein we tend to prefer in my house. So people like us, it may or may not give us any benefits because we're already getting the fish oil from like the actual fish, which is always the best way to get your nutrients. I always advocate for just getting it all from your diet. You don't have to take the pills. You don't have to take vitamin. Just get it from your diet. It's a funner way to get it anyway. It's a more enjoyable way to get it than to take pills. So, but like I'm digressing a little bit. They saw benefits in that group of people. The other group they actually saw benefits was an African American, and it was a strong benefit. Strong. I believe they said it was it was a 77% reduction. That's a lot. It's so much that they're saying, I think there was a little bit of, what I call it, timidity in actually saying that, this is what it is. So what they're suggesting is that more research has to be done to validate that this difference does exist. So people who don't take fish in the first place, or who don't have a lot of fish in their diet, and people who are African Americans tend to saw the most benefits when it comes to their cardiovascular issues. So again, in conclusion, I'm just here to give you guys information about different things that are going on in the health community and arm you with tools to, help you make informed decisions, and to also be knowledgeable about the things that are going on when you're taking care of yourself or when you are speaking with your healthcare provider. Information and knowledge is power. It's good to know. So that's what I'm here to do. And in the process of me sharing it with you, I also learn, and it's an act of service for me. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that, so now that are they going to make any adjustments to current treatment guidelines based on this trial alone? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the general consensus is like, hey, if it's not obviously hurting them, just kind of let them take it. Let's just err on the side of caution and at least have them be taken. Even if it's going to give them a tiny insy wheat of benefits, it's better than nothing. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. So it's probably not going to change treatment guidelines. My questions I would ask, and if I wanted to apply this to, people or my patients or the general community, there's some reservations I'll have because, even though it's a randomized controlled trial, which are some of the best ways to get information about how to help your patients, it's still limited. I have a patient, he's 83, 84, strong 83, fantastic 84. Very, very strong guy. Like, you wouldn't know he was 84, 83 unless he told you. Very, very good. And he did have a stroke, he mentioned. I think it was like 30 years ago or something. But you wouldn't know. He's in pretty good health, pretty good shape. And he doesn't take a lot of medications. But he told me that the way he got to that age and doing well is that for the past 30 years or so, he has taken a fish oil pill every single day and he doesn't miss it. Now, are we just gonna go off just his own narrative and his personal experience and now apply it to the rest of the world? Probably not. That's probably not the best idea. But, there are lots of people that will tell you stories like that. And the thing about this trial is, like, they only followed these people for over a course of 5 years. And that might not be enough time to actually see if this is going to really, really affect somebody in the long run. Maybe they needed to do it longer, maybe 10, 15 years, which I know is very, very expensive and hard to do. So 5 years was probably more reasonable, but that's what the questions that come off my head is, is that maybe 5 years was not enough time to see if there was a difference or if there was any benefit. Also, the age group of where they started taking it, they were in their 50s. Maybe if they started taking it earlier and again started taking it consistently and for a longer period of time, perhaps like the young men and women right now that are very health conscious, that are trying to, live their best and healthiest life, that start taking fish oil very early, perhaps the effects would be different for them than the people that start taking it at their late 50s. These are some of the questions that I would have and I would think about, and why I would say you never know until you know. So the jury's still out. We're still watching, we're still learning, and I always advocate getting it from your diet. Just eat well and eat healthy and enjoy your meals and enjoy healthy, nutritious meals. And then that way you don't have to be taking pills, either for prevention or for cure. So that is it, my dears. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. For the few of you that do tune in, I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you later. Bye.